15 years ago, almost to the day, something very interesting happened to me. But to tell you that, I have to tell you a story. Back in the 10th grade of high school, I was a terrible student, C- student. And I wasn't going to tell the story until I walked into this room this morning and I went, oh my gosh. One of those, anybody here ever been in education? Teachers? Okay. You know the invisible kids? I was an invisible kid. Totally invisible in high school. And Mr. Erickson was our social studies teacher. And one day, I came into the class one day, and he was in a really bad mood. And I normally just go sit down. People, hey, Mr. Erickson, how you doing? How you doing? He said, sit down and shut up. It was like, wait, what's your problem? Have a cup of coffee, relax. He said, I told you to sit down and shut up. I'm not kidding. Everybody sat down, we're all quiet. And we shared classes with Miss Saunders, social study classes, every other day. He walks up to the front of the room and he says, you know what's wrong with the educational system today? They shouldn't allow women in it. They don't think right. They don't teach right. They're too soft. It's a bunch of baloney, and I've had it. One of the outspoken girls in our class said, excuse me, Mr. Erickson, he says, what do you want? She said, I don't agree with what you're saying. He said, I don't care what you believe. He walked back to her, grabbed her by the arm, and he threw her out into the hall. Closed the door. We're all like, whoa. He came back in, and he looked at back and said, you think something's funny? A couple guys in the back, leather jackets. Look back, they're not laughing. He said, fine, if you think it's so funny, you're out of here. Goes back and grabs these two guys by the scruff of their neck and throws them into the hall, slams the door. Comes back to anybody else, thinks something's funny. And we're like, no, you know. We'll wait till after and we'll call our parents, but right now, everything's fine. So we sat there and he said, you know what, it's not just women. It's Jews. It's Hispanics.
Oh my God.
It's African Americans. It has to stop. I've had it. And he proceeds to just go for a few more minutes, right? We're all in shock. And I'll never forget it. I was sitting to his left, and there's a guy two rows over and one seat back. He slides out of his chair, and he stands up. Didn't say a word. One of those kids that never said anything, slept through most of the classes. He stands up, and he just looks at the big guy. Just looks at him. Mr. Erickson said, what's your problem? He just stood there. Didn't say a word. Mr. Erickson, I said, what's your problem? He said, Mr. Erickson, what you're doing is wrong. He said, I don't care what you think. I'm going to grab this big guy and threw him out in the hall. Came back. Anybody else have anything they want to say? No. He went on for another 10 minutes. And we all sat there. How many agree with me? Well, you don't think this should happen, should you? No. You know what that was? It was a speech on fascism. And what happens in the face of obvious evil, when good people, a few dissenters are eliminated, good people do nothing. People don't take a stand. They sit in their chairs and they go along. So, I was furious with myself. I found out later, everybody in the room that got thrown out of the hall was a plant, and he had teachers catching them in the hall. Except for the kid who stood up. He was the only one that had stood up in 10 years of doing it. And I was like, do it one more time. Just one more time. I'll sit here, I'll pretend it didn't happen, just do it one more time. Because I wanted to be that person, right? So fast forward, I decided that day, the invisible kid, that if I was presented with another opportunity where I needed to stand up for myself and for others, I was going to do it. So fast forward to this room. I'm president of global operations for a company here in the Scottsdale area. They're doing about $200 million a year in sales. And me and the CEO find out that the owners are doing some things that are illegal. And I'm making a lot of money. 30 years old, making a lot of money. And I have this dilemma. And what do I do? Do we try and be the change from the inside? Justify, rationalize, what do we do? And I remembered Mr. Erickson. I remembered that story. And we had a boardroom right back in that corner, our board meeting with the owner and myself and the CEO. And I told him that story. And I said, you know what, this time, I'm not going to sit down. I'm going to stand up. And either it changes right now, or I'm out of here right now, this second. He said, it's my company, I'm going to do what I want. I said, okay, I'm out. And the CEO and myself walked away from seven-figure income and had nowhere to go, even. We had no plan. But I will tell you, it was a defining moment in my life. And I think sometimes in these moments, either you define the moment or the moment defines you. And if I'd have gone along, if I'd have compromised, if I'd have been weak, if I didn't stand up for myself or for others, because the people he was leading in that company, he was leading them in a direction that had no future. They went bankrupt. Being $200 million a year, they went bankrupt 3 years later. No secret. You can't build something big and be corrupt. It will find its way. So why do I tell you that story? I tell you that story for one reason. You're here this weekend to take yourself to another level. You're here to create something special for yourself. You're here because you're not satisfied with other things around the world. You're here, I'll bet, because you want to be a contribution to others, not just a contribution to your family's income. Wouldn't it be nice if you could connect the two? That's what I do every day. That's what I have the great fortune to be able to do every day. So my wish for you, for all of you, is for you to decide to become a network marketing professional in addition to whatever else it is that you're doing. That you decide to go pro. I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it is a stone-cold fact that we have a better way. All we have to do is go tell the world. Everybody, have a great evening. It was my pleasure.